So the Donald Trump clown show continues.
What's going on today?
Well, the clown show has gone wireless.
Wireless?
Yeah.
What's going on?
They're offering this Trump mobile service, and the question is, do you want a gold phone?
No, the question is, do you want Trump phone and Trump service?
Yeah, it really is a phone-in service. They're calling it the T1, and it's going to have a big American flag on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're claiming that they're going to build this thing in USA, and they're claiming that
Build every part, every little screw.
That's what they're claiming. Well, they didn't give a lot of details. To be fair, they give a lot of details.
It's my opinion. If they really build in, America,
Right.
they should, show the tour of the factory,
right,
the employee. But I'm sure,
right.
it's my opinion that everything built somewhere in China and just bring home. Maybe they just put the American flag in.
Right.
Just put the last part.
No, you just bring up a good point. Is whenever you hear a promise from someone who's trying to trick you, ask for evidence.
Yeah.
Like if someone says we're making
factory.
Yeah. If we're making USA, like where are you doing it, right? I'm actually not sure. They claim that the call center is going to be in St. Louis, Missouri. So they said there's going to be a U.S. call center, and then they said, but then it was funny because later when they asked a little bit more,
but no one's there
at the call center. Oh, right.
Just AI answer you.
It could be right, or you're on hold for a long time. Yeah. Because, okay, you bring up a good point where people can tell you stuff that is true technically, but not what you think it's going to be, right? So you're like, yeah, we have a call center in USA, but there could just be one person working there,
one person you have to wait like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Even if someone's answer that is a robot answering.
Yeah. Or the same thing with Made in USA, and a lot of people point this out already, where like that can have a whole bunch of meanings.
Yeah.
Right. Is the box made in USA only?
Only sticker.
Yeah.
Sticker.
Yeah, or the screw. Because the word we use these days, we say assembled in USA or put together. But
not even that. I don't think so.
Well, chances are what they're going to do is they're going to probably bring in phones from China and just put like a flag on it and then try to resell it.
And their phone is for the poor people. They said, according to this foldable phone, but it's impossible to make it in USA.
So they're claiming it's going to cost like $500, something like that, right? But the problem is, so when they asked, hey, iPhone, Apple, can you come build iPhones in USA? Estimates were like it would double, maybe triple the cost of said phone. So a lot of people already are like, this is not possible. Even the Wall Street Journal called out this is not possible. The other thing that's really funny, so I didn't pick up on it because do you know when you read a website or anything where your mind sort of subconsciously corrects the mistakes, if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for example, on their website, it said, I think they had like a 20 megabit camera, and then they had like 5,000, it was like, megahertz or whatever, or not megahertz, sorry. People are going to like, Chris, you're so dumb. It was the 5,000, however you rate batteries, it's like mAh. And then it said camera. So it said camera twice, not battery.
I see.
So the website was basically incorrect.
Yeah.
It said camera twice, and everyone's like, "What the heck is a 5,000 camera?" But that's the kind of stuff that their website was. It's rushed together really quickly, and then essentially what they do is just send your deposit right away. Right? That's the kind of people that they are. They'll put up a website as quickly as they can and just get you to try to send them money. And the most thing that people comment on in the last video was I mentioned how in USA, because how to explain it to other people. There's a lot of people who are just easily fooled, right? It's like the people who watch your TV evangelist, the preacher, the priest tells you, give me $10,000, you're going to go to heaven, that kind of person. Or it's the people who watch Home Shopping Network, and it's like, they tell you, guys, you're going to get these collector dishes that they're exclusive to this TV, and you have, 20 minutes to buy it, and you hurry. It's like 1 out of 10,000, you're going to, be the first. And
yeah.
I don't know, people fall for that stuff in USA. And I asked the question out in the community if this exists in other places. So I'll ask you, I don't know, in Korea, do we have this sort of TV church where people are asking you for money kind of stuff?
That is basically cult.
Yeah, is it on TV? Because we have cults in Korea. We have cults in Korea.
TV.
Not really on
TV.
TV.
On TV. Just like there's popular, famous cult. So they're just like that. So there is on Korea comment. It's on news, Korean commenting that the Trump he acts just same as the Korea the cult leader.
Yeah.
He's can I say he changed honor to money. President is the honor of job.
Right.
But he's just changed it to money.
Right.
And we do have an expression that you have a hair on your conscience.
Hair on your conscience.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Basically, no 양심, no conscience.
You have hair on your conscience, and it translates to like having no conscience. Interesting. In the USA, like the philosophy, many people pointed this out, is like you have these people like Trump or Musk or whatever. They go on TV and they show all of their money. Like, look at my fancy car, look at my house, and then I have this because God gave me blessings, and then therefore you should give me $10,000 and I'll help you get blessings. Like, people fall for this stuff, and it's. I know you laugh because it's like this is
you talked through this wire that's like God speaking.
No, seriously, that's what it is. And so the idea would then be like, you will get the special connection, I guess, through the wire. This cult is your operator.
But you know what? They're not even using their own how can I say, the telephone system. They're borrowing the big companies.
Yeah, so she's talking about I think we call it. I want to say it's like MVNO. I believe I don't remember exactly what it's. I think that's what it's called. But you're right. The basic idea though is you rent the space on other carriers.
AT&T.
Yeah, the big ones, Verizon. T-Mobile is the other one.
They're just borrowing.
The other problem with this is going to be is that usually those services, because you're essentially using other companies' towers, they're inherently always going to be not as fast.
They're always going to be second.
Yeah, basically. So you're getting a substandard phone, you're getting a poor service, and then chances are they're going to sell your data. I think that's how they're going to try to make money. And they're also going to try to sell you medical services through this thing. Seriously.
What are you talking? They cancel every medical service.
Yeah, I know.
Like education service.
You're giving them ideas. They're probably going to try to sell you education as well. But that should actually be a good point, because that shows you sort of where they're going in the Trump administration is like, cancel all government stuff and everything will go private. That's their basic concept.
Now like tourism industry is going down, so maybe the hotel business, they're not making much of money, so they have to go to another industry. Another they need cash right now.
That's you're actually bringing up a point. So that's the challenge right now in the U.S. economy, or say our markets. So for example, the Wall Street Journal just reported that young people hitting the job market this summer aren't going to have very good opportunities. And if you guys know any young people out there, I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. And then you bring up the other point and say the hotel industry is dying or whatever. Where are all those workers going to go? They have to find something. And so kind of what Trump keeps saying, and his two sons kept saying it today also, is like, guys, the future is crypto. It's all about innovation and crypto. They keep mentioning it because I have to show their clips in other videos, because sometimes people think, is this a joke? Is this phone a joke? Is this crypto a joke? And then it's like, no, seriously, that's what they're seriously talking about. And so then like you bring up the point of like, okay, so if you're killing our tourism, so I guess replacing it all with crypto, or if you're killing our trade, well, I guess we're going to make phones ourselves. But it goes back to the point of where, like, if someone promised you something, okay, so where's the factory? Ask for details.
Yeah,
okay.
Factory. Why they should there's a job hiding somewhere, should be right.
But that's the thing that they always do, is though they just sort of like tell you it's going to be the best ever, it's going to save you. It's the same as TV bundles. That's why I mentioned this stuff. What's that?
Yeah, someone's gonna do the unboxing video on YouTube, right?
if this phone ever exists. So one of the kids did have a gold one, but I mean, whether or not they can make these things.
And the some crazy YouTuber, they the experience, they fold the phones through.
They drop phones, stuff like that.
And the stab on it.
I'm sure it's going to be not very good. Actually, you bring up a good point, and you guys should look this up one for me, because I don't know. Has anyone actually seen a Trump gold shoe that actually received one? Because I know he sells these things, or see the guitars. I guess I'll make a separate video on that and see if I can find that stuff. But because we know they actually sell these things, but there's a high chance that no one actually ever got them. There's a high chance of that, or
just money launderers, so they just order it. I don't need that, just you keep the money,
Yeah, and so this goes into the thing of like the whole money situation. People don't follow this stuff because it's hard to keep track of all his scams. So there was a guy a while back that bought this banana. Do you remember the banana
Yeah.
guy? I don't remember the number. It was some stupid number, like $300,000 or whatever. It was, or no, actually, it was probably way more now. It was probably in
I
the
don't
million. It was
remember
probably in the
what it
millions.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he has so much money to burn. He's just buying, banana. And if you don't know, it was like an art thing on the wall. It was just literally a
And
banana.
people just peeled it and eat it, and that was on news.
It was
Then there's more going viral.
it was a banana. So basically, what it was though is he was actually buying the rights to show a banana on the wall as being art. So it was like kind of buying the right to the banana. So that same guy bought a bunch of Trump crypto, and then he goes to Trump's White House party thing, right? And then suddenly, magically, all of the investigations on his crypto company disappear.
Yeah.
And so now he's partnering with the Trump kids to bring his company public, right? These are sort of how these scams work. And so then kind of what doesn't make sense about this whole Trump stuff is like, how long can you run these scams? People keep asking about that
Yeah.
stuff,
So it's Korea comment. If you were in Korea, you're already impeached right now.
Yeah, absolutely. The money's going to end at some point. And in fact, one of the really big ones now lately, there's a rumor going around. So I'll call it rumor. It's in Axios. It's an independent. I saw it in a couple news publications, but it's rumor in the sense of like they have one source and I don't know exactly, the accuracy of it. But according to them, ICE is way over budget. So I think that core story probably has some truth to it. By how much over budget, that's the different question, right? They're claiming maybe as much as $1 billion, but we'll just say I wouldn't disagree because I've been following the story and I do know for sure that the Trump people have been asking specifically to get more money for that program.
I see.
And also I know, so because you have to put together what you kind of guess and what you know, because like they're never going to share with you. We don't have any money. I also know the gnome person, so that's like we call her Barbie. Like I think we call her Ice Barbie.
Yeah.
She's been spending a lot of money on her commercials. And
What
so,
commercial?
well, like when she goes down and takes pictures of like with her in the prison or her holding the gun or holding uniform. So she's spending a ton of money on stuff because it's fun for her, right?
Yeah.
And so you have that, and then also too, if they are indeed mass deporting people, you have to put these people somewhere. So you're gonna have to.
That takes money too.
Yeah, a bed, food, bathrooms, and you have to pay for the prison guards, etc. There was even a story recently where 4 people escaped from one of the ICE detention centers. No, for real. It sounds funny because it's like like people escaping from that kind of stuff doesn't happen that often. It's like kind of movie kind of stuff. But if you understand the situation, if you're arresting a lot of people and you don't have
enough people to manage it.
Yeah, basically, right. So the chance of arrest. You also have the chance seriously of like any kind of abuse or because people any number of bad things can happen when you just start locking up people and the people locking them up may not be trained very well and then just all sorts of problems. So I think this budget thing is probably real. And then Trump wants to ramp this up to go to more cities. So like where you get the money for all this stuff? And then their answer is always like, well, crypto guys, because because by my meme coin.
Need to hold another Trump party, right?
Yeah, that's their plan. And so probably what's gonna happen was that
from Israel.
It could be. So that part's really tricky. The Israel stuff. I'll explain briefly. So Israel has a lobby that gives politicians a bunch of money, right? But then the politicians approve a bunch of money to go back to Israel. So I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure that's a money making for us. I think all this stuff ends up being is like money moves around and then it just ends up in either Trump's hands or Trump's friends' hands. And when they promise you that you're going to get any of this money, I just don't see it happening. And kind of what people always complain about is like, why do we always have enough money for wars, but we never have enough money for like education or healthcare? And I think that's a real legitimate question, right? Or, why do we have enough money to build all of these prisons for? Well, actually, we don't have enough money to build all these prisons, but that goes back to like I think this whole thing is a house of cards, and regardless of like because I know we have different people watch this channel, regardless of what you believe about anything that the government should do or shouldn't do, there should be some recognition of that. There's only so much money, and eventually you run out of said money. I guess one solution is you could print more. Theoretically,
it's not a good solution.
And the other solution would be borrow a bunch of money from China, Japan, UK, whatever. But
it's also not a good solution.
You guys get the point of this. Is like it's going to catch up, and honestly, this feels like the sort of end of the road. I guess.
But their solution was fire a bunch of people, but It wasn't also, it was one of the worst solutions.
Yeah, that's not great either. So this is where we are right now, guys. Just wanted to have a chat with you about the money situation and I guess Trump phones. I know that's how crazy our world is. I do appreciate your time, and we'll catch you on the next video. So, bye.
Bye.